Hello and welcome to Beyond the Lens. The other day I was talking to a friend and I was trying to explain to him the difference between colour balance and colour correction. So I thought I'd do a quick tutorial on it. So briefly, colour balancing is when you've taken the footage direct from camera and it's going to look flat because you've taken all the information, the colour information, the lighting information and everything. And you change it and adjust it so it looks correct. Colour grading is adding an effect or enhancing the effect of your video. So if you've got, say, a couple walking down the street or cuddling by a nice romantic setting, you'd add more reds and oranges to make it look warm and fuzzy. You've got someone like a man lost in the wilderness, you'd add a bit more greens and blues to give it that dramatic feel. So let's go to the computer and have a look, shall we? Oh, loads of Facebook notifications there. Gotta love that. So here we are. I've already got some footage here. My lad kindly posed for me. I want this to look, the finished item to look a bit cold, a bit of drama. So first thing we're going to do is bring that over here and create a timeline and a sequence. So here we are, and you can see it does look a bit flat. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to colour correct it. So we're going to go to Window, Workspace, Colour Correction. And here we are in our colour correction. We've got our trimming panel, we've got our effects and control, we've got our timeline, we've got our program monitor, which is what we do the adjustments on, and the reference to show what we've done. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to adjust the RGB curves, and we're going to do this using the waveform. The reason why I'm going to use the waveform rather than just by the look of it is if your monitor is not color balanced, then if you go by the waveform, then it'll look almost right. If you go by what you see on the screen, it'll look wrong. So we go to Effects. And if you look here, I've already brought it up here, we've got video effects, color correction, RGB curves. We'll drag that there. Go back to our effect control. And here we have our RGB. We've got red, green, blue, and we've got here the master, which affects the light and darkness. Go to your program monitor, display mode, and we're going to adjust the waveform first. So there's our waveform, that is the light waveform. We want the bottom to go around the 0 line, so we're going to do that first. So we go to the bottom, we can bring it down, and you can notice it's going darker already. Now the top we want to bring up to about 100. So there we are, you can see the difference between the two, between here and here. It looks sharper already. Now we're going to right click, display mode, and we're going to go now to RGB parade. And here we have our red, green and our blue. So we'll just do red first. We want to get these basically level so they're around the same sort of area. So we'll bring that down a little bit to there. You'll notice straight away it's adjusted here. Now we're going to do the greens. Bring that up a little bit, and you can see it getting green. The green is already, it's going more green. Now to counteract that, we're going to do the blue. So we bring that up and bring this up. Oh, didn't catch it there. There we go. So they're about level, and there we are. That is color balanced. Now this is if you go to automatic color balance, that's basically what it does. But here you've got more control, so I'm going to bring that blue down just a little bit. There. Now that's basically how it was looking on the day I shot it, how it looked through the viewfinder. So now we're going to go to color grading. Go back to Window, Workspace, Editing. We can right click here and go back to our composite video, and there we have it. Now if I click here and in our effects controls, if I turn that off, you can see the difference straight away. That looks flat, a bit off. Turn it on, and there we are, it's color balanced. So now we're going to do our grading. So we're going to go back to our video effects, color correction, and we're going to go down to three-way color corrector. Now you can either you can drag it up here, you can drag it onto here, or you can just double click. First thing we're going to look at is the input levels. Now anyone who's used Photoshop or is familiar with Photoshop will recognize the levels straight away. On the left it adjusts the shadows, right does the highlights, and the center does the midtones. The same as the three wheels here for the color, the shadows, midtones and highlights. So we're going to bring this up because I want this looking more drama. So we're going to bring the shadows right down, and we're going to bring the midtones down, and then just give a little bit on the highlights to bring out his face. Now if you're wondering, yes, the sun is at his back, but I used a reflector just to bring out and highlight his face. Little tip there for you. So here you can either adjust these how you want them, or reset these, go to master, and it does all of them. So if you do one, it does the other. But that doesn't look quite right to me, so we're going to take that off. Just make sure those are all refreshed. Now I'm going to bring in, on the shadows, I'm going to bring in the blues. About there. Again on the midtones, bring the blues in just a little bit, about a bit. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of green into it. Bring that round more towards the green. There we go. It gives that now a cold, dramatic feel. So if we now then press play, you can see you could add a bit of dramatic music or sad music, whatever you like really to enhance that. But there we go, that's now color graded, or as the Americans call it, colorized. We just stop that. If I turn that off, uncolorized, colorized. So that's how it looked from camera. That's the color balance done, and that's the colorized version. So basically, when you get your footage from your camera, balance it so you know what you're working with. Oh, pardon me. And when you've done it, you can then grade it to how you want it to match the theme of your film. I hope this was useful, and I will see you next time on Beyond the Lens. Don't forget to subscribe.